Hello and welcome to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Grand Arena Championships Season 30, Week 1, Round 3. My name is Boma Fett. I was 1-1 at the time of this match, which was a few weeks ago, and I was on vacation. That's why my videos have been delayed, and you're going to be getting voiceover after the fact here. So let's see who my opponent was. It was HunPhantom. Let's go to the Hotbot for a quick comparison. Once again, the Hotbot report is showing about an even amount of green on my side as red on my opponent's side, but let's zoom in and take a closer look. The top section shows that Phantom is a pretty good GAC player. 53k best score is very good in the old system. Our overall GPs are very close to each other. But I keep saying galactic power is a broken statistic. They broke it on purpose. The developers didn't want to make territory battles too easy by giving too big a GP boost for Gear 12, Gear 13, Relics, Galactic Legends, those kinds of things. And so the GP boost at the higher levels do not actually reflect the amount of power that your roster is gaining by having those things. So that means overall GP is not an actual reflection of a roster's power. The top 80 is a slightly better representation because these are the characters that will actually be used in GAC, and you can see he's got almost 300,000 GP more in the top 80. I've got 7 more Zetas and 3 more Omicrons, and I do have a bit more speed at the top of my roster. And you can see all of this green down here. These are my mods with high-speed secondaries, and I do have an advantage as far as speed on my mods. So that's where most of my green is coming from. Phantom has nearly 40 more Gear 13 characters than I have. 112 to 73. So if Gear 13 actually gave the GP boost that it should, our GPs would not be nearly this close. And we can see something similar here in the relics. He has 588 total relic levels to my 324. This is a huge difference and should really make his GP much higher than mine. And yet, our GPs are very close. Phantom has 5 out of the 6 Galactic Legends, and I have 2. Again, if Galactic Legends gave the GP boost that they should, our GPs would not be as close as they are. Galactic Legends are 3, 4, 5 times more powerful than a regular character, and yet their GP is only about 50% more than a regular character. Some of the key characters that I've added to this report, you can see that neither of us have Starkiller or Malgus or the Grand Inquisitor. Interestingly, Phantom also does not have Maul, so maybe this person doesn't like Conquest very much. They do have relics on the other characters, while I still have a couple of Gear 12s. And in the fleets, we see something that's been coming up a lot lately, and that is a Relic 9 on Piet, giving my opponent a faster Executor. Alright, let's go back to the game and take a look at the board. Let's take a look at the defense that I set first. In the top zone, I have Sith Triumvirate, Maul, Beskar Mando, Poggle with the battle droids, and Fin Poe. In the bottom zone, I've got Gas Clones, Shock Clones, Qui-Gon Jinn, Sortie, and Darth Revan. In the back zone, I've got Hux First Order, Savage Malik, Newt, Night Sister Cheese, and Dash Rendar. Let's take a look at his defense. In the top zone, we've got Poggle, an interesting Kira Newt squad, Kylo Ren Unmasked, Phasma First Order, and Qui-Gon Jinn. So no Galactic Legends in the top zone. In the bottom zone, we've got multiple Galactic Legends. Jedi Master Luke with a Datacron. So this is one of those really stupid Datacrons with a really overpowered ability, 100% more damage when they have full health and protection. That's just dumb. Get rid of this. Then we have Rey with her Datacron. So this gives her 75% more damage for each other active ally on her ultimate. Seriously? And that doesn't even count the bonus mechanic at level 6 for resistance, which is also overpowered. This is stupid. Didn't they say that Datacrons were supposed to shake up the meta? How does this shake up the meta? Yes, it can change the dynamic between two galactic legends. But it's still GL versus GL. That's not shaking up the meta. The GLs are the meta. You're reinforcing that. You're making GLs even more powerful. To me, that is the opposite of what Datacrons should do. So I've heard a lot of people say that they think that Datacrons just should not apply when a GL is present. I can understand why the developers wouldn't want to do that. But there are some things that they could do. They could make it so that the GLs, first of all, don't give GLs special abilities. That's terrible. But they could go a step beyond that. They could say no special abilities apply when a GL is present. You could still get the stat bonuses, but you don't get the special abilities. And that's kind of a happy medium. It lets you use Datacrons with GLs, but without them making the GLs stupidly overpowered. Next, we have Shock Clones with the Datacron, and this is the 25% turn meter gain Datacron. Get rid of this. This makes modding much less important. My mods are one of my advantages. I hate this. Then we have SLKR and General Grievous. So 3 GLs in this zone. I'm going to need to try and off-meta one of them, and 2 of them have Datacrons, making the off-meta impossible. So I'm going to have to try and off-meta SLKR. In all honesty, that's probably what I would do anyhow, because it's the most reliable off-meta counter. Alright, so I started off against Rey with my Jedi Master Kenobi. So I took in Cat and GK as normal, and I selected my Datacron for Galactic Republic. Now I've had terrible luck with my Datacron rolls, and so this had turn meter gain as the mechanic, and of course Jedi Master Kenobi squads can't gain turn meter. So this is a pointless mechanic. Now I re-rolled this and re-rolled it and re-rolled it trying to get the stun mechanic. I just kept coming up with this turn meter gain or with resistance effects. And I don't want resistance effects. I don't have Rey. I wanted the stun. I finally got it at the end of this 3v3 season, so I'll have it for next season. So everything started off as normal. Batter up. Take out Resistance Hero Finn. I started going after Poe, and of course I should have gone after Rey, right? You want to get her into damage immunity as quickly as possible. So that was a slight misplay. But I soon realized my error. I started going after Rey. And got her into damage immunity. We switched back over to Poe. And then here comes her ultimate. She got her ult really quickly, but I also got mine pretty quickly. I popped my ult while waiting for her to go. She hit. She really hurt Cat, but didn't take her out. So I went after Rey, trying to get down Rey before she could get to another ult. And we got her. So despite her having that overpowered Datacron, I was able to beat her with my Kenobi. So now we just have Poe in damage immunity. We have to wait for him to come out of damage immunity. And then we could get rid of him. So 63 banners is not great banners, but given the Datacron on the other side, I was just happy to get the win. Next up, we went after Jedi Master Luke with a mirror match, but I had to save my Jedi Knight Luke to go after SLKR. So I went in with Grandmaster Yoda instead of Jedi Knight Luke. I added Jolie Bindo so that I would have the revives if I needed. And I took in a Datacron that included Riposte. But remember, he had that stupid Datacron giving him double damage. And so my GMY just died right away. He stunned my Jolie, so Jolie was not able to revive GMY. And there goes Jolie. So no revive. It's 1-on-3 here. And this is basically over. So really, really frustrating. Get rid of these stupidly OP Datacrons. I don't mind Datacrons as a concept, but these kind of stupidly OP powers, they don't belong. Not in GAC. GAC should be about skill. It shouldn't be about the luck of who got the good Datacron or who has paid the resources or paid the money to re-roll and re-roll and re-roll. So this is a loss, and once this is a loss, that means I'm not going to be able to clear this zone. So I did still decide to try and off-meta the SLKR. I took in Jedi Knight Revan and Jedi Knight Luke, and now there's a version of this where you use the Armorer. But if I use the Armorer, my Armorer is only gear 12, and so that means I can't add a Datacron. So instead, I went with Hermit Yoda, and I added a Datacron. This Datacron has offense up and protection. SLKR started by poking Revan, that's typical. We marked Hux to get rid of Hux. I gave the Master's Training to Jedi Knight Luke. And goodbye, Hux. Next, I took out the Stormtrooper, so 1-on-3 against SLKR. Revan went down quickly, and this always comes down to Jedi Knight Luke against SLKR. Having Hermit Yoda in there helped because I kept getting Foresight, and so I was able to dodge some attacks. Things were actually looking pretty good. I had him in the yellow. I was working him down. Hermit Yoda went down. And then one shot there on Jedi Knight Luke, and it was over. So rather than trying to clean up SLKR, I decided to move on to General Grievous. I took in Wampa. I gave him a Potency Datacron to help him land his debuffs. I don't know if that's the best Datacron for him or not. Probably not. But everybody's seen this battle 100 times, so I'll go ahead and fast forward this. I think the Potency Datacron is probably a good move, maybe in 5s. But in 3s, it doesn't seem like it does much. Grievous sheds the debuff so quickly, it doesn't really stick. You keep killing B1, so the debuffs don't stick there. But in spite of that, it was a quick, easy 58. Next up was the Shock Clones, and with this comp, I actually probably could have gone with Emphis Nest, but I keep forgetting that Nest can beat the Shock Clones. So instead, I took in Wedge, Han, and Chewie, and I gave them a Datacron with extra tenacity to keep them from getting debuffed so that they can do their assisting. This was quick and easy. We targeted Shock. In fact, this was a little bit too easy because we ended up killing them so quickly that we couldn't recover banners on everyone. And so it ends up at just 55 banners. So I shifted to the top zone. and went after Phasma first. There's no Omicron on the TIE Pilot, so I took in my Bad Batch, my Gear 12 Bad Batch. Even in 3v3, this is a great counter. Rip away their advantage. Roll out the stuns. Target whoever didn't get stunned. We keep boosting each other's abilities. Call on Hunter. Do the AoE. Again, you pass things around. Eventually, you get that basic with Echo, and that basic is what's going to give defense up, and whoever gets the defense up is then going to be giving true damage, or dealing true damage. And so Echo got the defense up, and so Echo did some true damage. This squad is great because of all the banner recovery, as well as their control. So that's an easy 57 banners. Next up was the standard Kylo Ren Unmasked squad, so I took the standard counter, which is Jedi Training Rey. My BB-8 is only Gear 12. That can occasionally be an issue. Their Datacron was Protection and Potency, and because BB-8 was only Gear 12, I could not put a Datacron of my own. This counter is all about control. So with a wiggle and a wave, then we go for a stun, and then we go after the Executioner. We're also able to put healing immunity on the opponents. That's not really important for Executioner, but it is for the two Kylos. Again, keep stunning OG Kylo as much as possible. He's their turn meter generator. So if you keep him stunned, it keeps them definitely under control. Keep wiping Kylo Ren Unmasked. That prevents him from taunting. That also prevents him from doing his stun. So keep stunning OG Kylo over and over and over again. And now at this point, I'm not really too worried about losing the match. Executioner is the really big hitter, and he's gone. But now it's a question of, can I recover the banners that I've lost? Because of the Kylo AoE, I've lost protection on all of my characters. So if I can get to Illuminated Destiny, then hopefully I can recover all of that lost protection. So there it is, but it wasn't quite enough. I'm still missing some protection on each of the droids. So at this point, if I can again get around to another Illuminated Destiny, I might get back those banners. So oftentimes, I will end up killing Kylo Ren Unmasked too quickly and not get that Illuminated Destiny. But you can see I'm really close right now. So instead of doing healing immunity again, I just did a basic so that I could get to that Illuminated Destiny. And now I've put the healing immunity on him so that I can take him down, and I should get a full 57 banners. There you go, easy 57. Next up was the Qui-Gon squad, and I hate when Qui-Gon has a tank with him in 3v3 because it prevents me from using my Bosk bounty hunters. Bosk has to target the weakest enemy, and when there's a tank there, you can't always do that. So I decided to go in with Grievous here. And to be honest with you, this was 3 weeks ago, and so I don't remember exactly what I was thinking. But whatever I was thinking, it was a bad idea. Anakin is fast, comes out with the big AoE, almost takes out Droideka. Droideka rolls up to get damage immunity, but that doesn't matter. So we get a big hit there from Grievous, but it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. And now I'm stuck attacking Mace because of his pseudo taunt, and I did the wrong move. I should have done a basic to put healing immunity on him, and then killed Qui-Gon here with the third ability, but I did the wrong one there too. Had I killed Qui-Gon with the third ability, Mace would not have gotten back the health and protection because of the damage immunity, so I just completely misplayed that all the way around. So now I have to go back in with all three of them still alive, the Omicron is still active, and now watch what happens here. I decide to go Palpatine and Vader. And here I've got Palpatine, who's right below him, Fennec. Well, I accidentally scrolled up without realizing it and pressed where Palpatine had been on the screen, but that selected Fennec. And I didn't notice. I don't know how I didn't notice. I think I was playing late at night because I was on vacation, and so I took in Fennec with Vader and Mara. Not at all what I wanted to do. So I get into battle, and I still don't even realize it. Instead of going merciless, I did the Force Crush, as if Palpatine were the leader. So, just total misplay. At this point, I finally realized what's going on. I go into merciless, I get rid of Qui-Gon, so that at least the cleanup will be easier. That's what I should have done with Grievous in the first place, is just kill Qui-Gon. So at this point, I was really frustrated with Qui-Gon, so I decided to just go somewhere else. So I chose the Kira squad with Newt and Nest, and I took in my bounty hunters. This squad is great because you've got Mando, who's got the Disintegrate, and so once you get your contract, you can just disintegrate Nest, and you don't have to worry about all of her protection building up and building up. There's also great banner recovery from both Bossk's lead and from Grief. So we finally got our contract. We just need to wait for Mando's Disintegrate to come around. In the meantime, I tried to stun Nest, and that didn't work. But it doesn't matter. She could have all the bonus protection in the world. Disintegrate will take her out. So Newt gets a little poke here and a little poke there and does a little damage here and there, but it doesn't matter. Again, there's such great banner recovery here, both from Grief and from Bossk's lead, so this ends up being an easy 57. Although it probably took a little bit longer than it should have. There we go, 57. So now back in against Anakin and Mace. The Omicron will not be active, but they're still going to be turn meter loaded, and they can still do some pretty good damage. So I went in with Basti, Ezra, and Kanan. I gave them the last of my level 3 Datacrons. And with the extra protection up from Bastila, this should be able to get full banners. Give the buffs to Ezra, goodbye Anakin, and goodbye Mace. So 26 there. So last but not least, we have this Poggle squad, and I accidentally have Emperor Palpatine left. So I decided to take in Palpatine with Thrawn and Gideon. This is another squad with great control. You've got the turn meter removal from Gideon, you've got, of course, the fracture from Thrawn, and you've got stuns from Palpatine. So we fractured the Droideka so that it couldn't roll up and get the damage immunity. We got all three of them stunned. We also have turn meter gain from Palpatine every time we're landing debuffs, and when we've got shock on the enemies, we're gaining turn meter. And so I just ran circles around them. This was absolutely no contest. It was a thing of beauty. So the mistake earlier was costly, but this was fun. So 57 banners here. So I intentionally saved myself Imperial Troopers, hoping that I might be able to still take down SLKR. Now the issue here is that Veers is only gear 11, so he is going to die really quickly. So there he goes, bye-bye. But I'm just hoping that Dark Trooper can do some punch-punch, and then he gets stunned. There goes Piet, and there goes Dark. So I didn't get the punches that I needed, and we lost. Now I had a few more squads left, so I went ahead and threw those at SLKR. I'll go ahead and fast forward through those battles real quick. None of them had any chance. The bounty hunters probably did the best getting him into the yellow. But the rest of these did absolutely nothing. So giving up on that zone, I switched to the ships. And of course we have the Executor. But I was feeling much better about my Executor two-shot counter. I had figured out which ships to take in first in order to exhaust the specials. The key is that you need at least one ship that's got decent health and protection. In this case, I took in Rex. And everything goes to plan. There's the first special, here's the second, here's number 3. I got an attack. I was not expecting that. In fact, I got 2 attacks. And here's special number 4. Now I just need it to time out. So now everything is set up perfectly to bring in the home 1. And the key here is that I need the Falcon to survive the opening attacks. And things actually go perfectly. Instead of attacking the Falcon, they went after the Y-Wing. I get the wiggle with the Falcon, and then we target down the Xanadu Blood. It takes a few attacks, calling in the assists, and the Xanadu is gone. And now I gamble and do the Shield Disruptor really early. But I thought that I was going to get a couple of attacks before he got any attacks, and sure enough, I did. So we get the Houndstooth pretty low, and then he calls in a reinforcement instead of cleansing the Houndstooth. So now I focus down the Houndstooth, and we get him. So now there's no taunt on the other side. I can target whoever I want. I go after the IG-2000. I think it does a little bit more damage. Call in the Phantom and get the big hit, and goodbye IG. So now we just have the Razor Crest. We're going to, of course, have to kill it twice. We bring in Cassian to call the assists. But this is a thick Razor Crest. We finally got through its first life, and then in comes Slave 1. Now, Slave 1 has a taunt and retribution, but the Falcon's basic clears that. So now I decide to just focus down the Slave 1. Again, I think it does more damage than the Razor Crest does. And then just the Razor Crest left. And there it is. The two-shot worked perfectly. 48 banners. Next up is the Negotiator. And normally I do a mirror match with Negotiators, but I decided this time instead to take my Malevolence. My audience is always telling me, use the Malevolence against the Negotiator. So here it is, folks. I'm actually doing it. So now you guys can let me know down in the comments how badly I misplay this. What are some things that I should be doing differently when I do Malevolence against Negotiator? I put the Buzz Droids on Anakin. I put Buzz Droids on everybody. I'm stuck behind the taunt, so I'm having to go after the Y-Wing. They're focusing down my Sunfac. And Sunfac is gone. Keep spreading the Buzz Droids around. And then I bring in the Spy, hoping to get the taunt on Anakin. But instead, it goes on 5s. So I focus down 5s and get rid of him. Anakin's hurting from the Buzz Droid, so I'm able to take him out pretty easily. This is actually going very, very well in my estimation. I did lose Sunfac. I think I lost my original Vulture, so it's not going to be good banners, but no chance that I was going to lose there, and 65. Lastly, we have the Home 1, and I have my Negotiator. So I used Rex earlier, and I want to save Sarge in case I need a backup fleet, so I actually took in the Consular. I don't remember the last time I took in the Consular. My plan here is always to go after the Y-Wing first because of the Shield Disruptor, which invariably will land against my Y-Wing. Very frustrating. My Shield Disruptor lands maybe half the time, but against the computer, it lands almost every time. So that's frustrating, but I was able to get rid of their Y-Wing. I got a big hit here. We're getting close on Biggs. And of course, then they heal him. I bring in Plo Koon. That'll get rid of the Shield Disruptor. I put the taunt back on the Y-Wing. They bring in the Phantom. And bye-bye Plo Koon. Put up Unending Loyalty. And we're still stuck on Biggs here. I brought in Snips, and finally got rid of Biggs. Now they're able to bring in another reinforcement. They bring in the Ghost, who calls a bunch of assists, and the Y-Wing is really close to going. I get rid of the Ghost. Luckily, Unending Loyalty saved the Y-Wing. Call the Mass Assist and get rid of the Phantom, and now it is just the Falcon, and a big hit takes out the Falcon for a 66. So not the best banners and fleets, but cleared fleets. Yay! So this is where I was stuck. 1093 was my total. I expected HunPhantom to have no problem against my defense, so let's see how it turned out. Well, it was a loss. So let's look at the board. HunPhantom cleared all 3 squad zones. In the front zone, one-shots against all 5 squads. In the back zone, he did drop a battle against Savage Malik. In the top zone, he dropped a battle against the Sith Triumvirate. So he did have some minor struggles, but nothing that was going to prevent him from beating me. In the fleet zone, he did not clear the Executor, but it doesn't matter. He didn't even need to attack the fleet zone. Once he had cleared the 3 squad zones, he had won easily. So 1730 to 1093 was the final. Obviously, my struggles were against the Galactic Legends. I really think they need to rethink Datacrons for Galactic Legends. No Datacrons for Galactic Legends. Make it so that those special abilities don't work for Galactic Legends, because Galactic Legends are already strong enough. You don't need them any stronger. So I'd like to thank HunPhantom for the match. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next round.